You Can Become a Hero by Orphan Account on AO3. Episode 12, Chapter 8. A Hero to be Proud of. He left the hospital a few days later. It felt nostalgic to once again be wrapped in bandages from head to toe, like he was reliving his early years. He managed to sneak a peek at the artificial skin on his arm once the doctor was done changing his bandages, and it looked strange. It looked like a thin strip of some tan material that was stretched over his new wound, right before it was covered by white gauze. They hadn't messed with the rest of his body yet, but he was afraid they'd be calling him in soon enough for more surgery. Dabi wasn't allowed to see his reflection until the day he left. Hawks didn't really seem to notice how angsty Dabi was to see himself after feeling his jaw constantly pained. And he didn't think to give Dabi his phone so he could see either. He only looked to his cheeks, frantically searching to see where the pain was coming from. His staples had been removed. Deep scars were etched into his cheeks from where they were. Hawks immediately mentioned about the doctor saying staples should never be in the skin as long as they were. He claimed that they were practically embedded. However, Dabi knew that the staples would be back as soon as he got the privileges of Hawks's bathroom. Anything to stop the feeling of his jaw falling off. I look like hell. No, you look human. When Dabi got home, he was quick to begin tearing off his bandages. Hawks tried to stop him, but he couldn't do much more than insist and sit down, and things went through. Dabi managed to get his arm free before stumbling into the bathroom, reaching around blindly for his staple gun, only to remember where he was. He was in Hawks's house. He should have remembered. It was pathetic that he forgot. Frustrated, Dob glanced into the mirror and froze. His heartbeat slowed, as did time as Hawks came behind him, reaching out cautiously. Hey, Dabs, I'm gonna call the doctor again if you keep doing that. We need those to heal, remember? He didn't respond, looking blankly into the mirror. He could feel the gears in his brain slowing down, eventually coming to a screeching halt, as he saw the strands of red hair woven in with black. His eyes were still the ugliest blue he's ever bore witness to, but he'd only just noticed that again after so many years. His burnt purple, red, and black skin were a dulled color. Whether the doctors gave him weird shit, or it was just him not using his quirk as often as he used to, he didn't like it. He didn't look like himself. Do you want me to get you something? Hawks asked, as an eager tone. Dabi could hear the hidden plea with it. Say something. Say anything, please. Dabi looked down to his skin, picturing his old staple gun sitting at the side with blood dripping down into the sink from his cheeks and hands. He could see his old self touching the mirror, grinning, as mechanical crackling echoed from his throat, as it would make the pain cease. It would only make it worse until he was a heaving mess on the floor, chuckles falling out freely from his lips, as tears did from his eyes. He didn't want Hawks to see that. I don't want to be alone. Because if he was alone, he'd be gone. Okay. Dabi was guided by Hawks into the hero's bedroom. He got in quietly, settling amongst the fluffy blankets as Hawks reached for his remote on the bedside, turning on some random channel. Afterwards, he got in beside Dabi, wings stretched out on the top of him, lazily. Want to talk about it? About what? Something is bugging you. Hawks frowned a little, but nestled as close as he could to the ex-villain without pressing into his wounds. A few things are always bugging me, Dabi admitted, but he didn't say anything more. Hawks seemed to catch on with the fact that he didn't want to talk. However, minutes later, he was leaving the bed, telling Dabi to wait a moment. He came back into the bedroom with 3 letters in hands. One was white, another was pink, and then a baby blue one. He handed them over the moment he settled into the bed. Your first fan letter. Isn't that cute? Dabi huffed a little, but there was a small smile on his face as he opened the pink one. It was from Yuma, congratulating him on his great work. Beside it was a picture of the two of them with capes, despite the fact neither of them ever wore a cape in each other's presence. Hawks cooed upon seeing it, then urged him to open the other. He carefully peered open the blue one. This was from someone he didn't know. It seemed to be an elderly lady, though all he had to go off was with the handwriting and the name. Regardless, the letter was very sweet. Hawks in no time snapped it up from him to read it himself, since he couldn't read the tiny print from where Dabi held it. Dabi watched as his eyes excitedly went across the page and ruffled his hair. He opened the white letter, expecting the best, when it started with, "Dear Hero." However, the rest of the letter went differently than he imagined. He hoped Hawks wouldn't notice how tense he became with every letter he read, his throat tightening. "What does that one say?" Hawks said as he politely folded the blue letter. Dabi glanced over and shoved it into the envelope. "Hate mail. Not fun. Don't worry." People, I swear, sometimes people need to find something else to take their anger out on. Hawks huffed, taking the envelope and throwing it to the ground. The other letters were gently set on the bedside table. Dabi could picture Hawks draping him up a few hours later to respond to them, to each letter, just like he would. Dabi wouldn't protest. It was only 2, after all. 2 letters. And that one. Dabi frowned a little as Hawks cuddled up against him, feathers fanning out. This time they weren't met by Dabi's pets. Instead, they drifted off. Together. When Dabi woke up in the morning, he was surprised to see Hawks was there. After missing so much work, he expected to not see him for days on end, but here he was, sleeping. Perhaps he was in trouble again, since Dabi fought without him or Endeavor watching. That was probably the case. Quietly, Dabi slipped from the bed. Resting his wings was laying on top of him, on a stack of pillows. He slung over to Hawks' side of the bed, and snagged the white letter, then exited the bedroom as quietly as he could. As he made his way to the kitchen, he picked up a dirty shirt from the floor and changed out of it, and into the shirt he had from the hospital. Upon finding a notepad in his kitchen, he wrote a quick note. "Ran out of milk. Be right back." Folding the note, he shoved it into his pant pockets. With that, he headed towards the door of the apartment. As his hand touched the cold metal bar, he found himself unable to turn the knob. No matter how hard he tried, it was stuck close. With a frown, he took a step back and thought about what he could have possibly forgotten. What could have been keeping him there, unable to move past the checkpoint? Hesitating, he headed back to the bedroom to see Hawks was still sleeping in the same place where he'd first left. Dabi walked over to the bed, watching as Hawks' wings twitched insensibly, but didn't stir as their owner slept. He leaned down, placing a small kiss to his partner's cheek before whispering, "I'll be home soon." With that, whether it was the truth or a lie, Dabi had the strength to open the door. I hate. Chapter 9. The Harsh Truth. Summary. Dabi began his descent. Note, I've been planning this for a while, and let me tell you, shit's gonna go down soon. You've been warned. But remember, after every storm comes a rainbow, and there will be a happy ending to the story. Shooting myself. Point blank. And then you. In that order. Yep. Okay. Well, the only thing I could think of is that the letter was from the League of Villains? And Dabi's going back to them, but that makes no sense. He's happy. I hate this. And on Valentine's Day. It's not Valentine's Day. Not while I'm recording, and not while I'm posting this. But on Valentine's month? Really? The month of February? Really? You're gonna do that to us? Ugh. Okay. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.